I think I just sent out a little reply to everyone that was on the list to make sure they did changes.
Okay.
But today I'm going to talk to you about finding your purpose and your passion. Back in the 90s, there was this movie that came out called The Matrix. Now, a lot of people thought The Matrix was this super science fiction movie with this guy dodging bullets, and they failed to see the undercurrents of life and the meaning of life within that movie. Now, if you haven't seen the movie is about this guy named Neo. And Neo was always in search of something wrong with his life. He couldn't figure out what's going on. But one day he received the most important phone call of his life. And that phone call led him on a path to a man called Morpheus. Now, Morpheus offered Neo two options. Option A, he could take the blue pill and wake up like the rest of humanity, or go back to sleep like the rest of humanity. Or option B, he could take the red pill and wake up to his true calling, his true purpose and power in life. Well, today, my fellow Toastmasters and Mr. Toastmaster and honored guest, I'm here to offer each and every one of us the red pill. I'm going to talk about finding your purpose and your passions in life. There are a couple of clues I'm going to give to you, or keys I'm going to give to you. And the first key can be found if you look at your life like pieces of a puzzle, and you put that puzzle together, your life has been speaking to you. It's been speaking to you since you were a child. That's why many of us joined Toastmasters, because our life is calling us. Well, case in point, look at my life. My earliest memories were being about 4 years of age. And I was one of those kids that's always getting into trouble, getting spankings from mama, running around doing this and that. And one day I was in the bathtub, taking a bath with my older brother Garvin. And my brother Garvin had the only toy we had, but I had this wonderful imagination. I took the ivory soap and I made it into my battleship. So I was playing my battleship. All of a sudden, I realized I had to use the bathroom. I knew if I got up out of that tub, Garvin was going to take over my battleship and I wouldn't get it back. He would do something to it I wouldn't like. So I did the next logical thing. I stood up and I went right there. Showed him. Well, Garvin screamed and ran down the hall, and I recall standing there scared, waiting for doom to come to me. And within a few moments, the doorway darkened as doom came in the room. Now, if you guys can picture this, 5'10", towering, angry, black steel. My mother.
I was going to say.
Mama came in the room with that good old-fashioned extension cord, swung at me, skin disappeared. I looked at it and I screamed, I jumped out, and I cowered behind the tub or the toilet, and she started to give me that good old-fashioned spanking. And she kept spanking until she said, I'm going to beat some sense into you. Sense never came. I quit screaming eventually. From the age of 4 to the age of 15, by modern Caucasian standards, you would say that I was physically abused, mentally abused, verbally abused. I was told I wasn't tall enough to my little brother, who was 6'8". I was told I wasn't smart enough to both my older brother and my younger brother with genius level IQs. I was told I wasn't light-skinned enough to meet my own grandparents. I was told, until at 15 I stood up and became the man. I said, I'm not going to take more of this negativity. And I took control of my life. So I looked at the piece of the puzzle and I started putting it together. I had all these obstacles that I had to face and overcome in my life. I was a chronic stutterer. That's why I speak so fast sometimes, because I had a stuttering problem growing up. I was really, really shy, and I overcame all of them. The next clue that I want to share with you can be found if you look at your calling as something of helping others. Now, it doesn't have to be this big, grandiose Mother Teresa world-saving thing. But as Martin Luther King said, as I said last time I was here, all can be great because all can serve. So it's about being of service. Now, looking at a piece of the puzzle from my own life, about a year ago, or a little bit over a year ago, I went outside behind my house. I was getting ready to get into my car, and there was this elderly African-American gentleman digging in the trash. And your next clue is look at your pet peeves. What bugs you about life? Bums have always bugged me. I mean, I just couldn't stand the sight of bums for some reason. Because there I was, I overcame all of my obstacles. I had to scratch and crawl my way out of the darkness of my childhood to become the man that I am today. And there these people are, they come to life and they get an obstacle that faces them and they just give up. So I'm the kind of person that always had a wise attitude towards them. They'd come up and ask me for some change and I'd get philosophical on them. I say, well, Why can't you be happy the way things are? And then start stepping, start walking. Well, that day was a little bit different. I looked at this brother out there, and I realized this man came before the dream. When I say the dream, I'm referring to when Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. I have a dream that one day my 4 little children will grow up in a nation where they'll not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. Well, most of us in this room, we're products of that dream. We had equal opportunity for education, we had equal opportunity for jobs and everything else. But people from before that time, before all of our civil rights leaders made it okay for us, they didn't have those opportunities. So there that guy was, digging in the trash at the end of his days. I did something I never did before. I reached in my pocket and pulled out $1. And I walked up to the man. And he was so intent on digging in the trash that he didn't see me coming. And I startled him. He did the same thing I did at 3 years of age, cowered. And it kind of touched me and broke my heart a little bit. But then he saw the $1 bill, and he reached out and he grabbed my hand. This man who had nothing, as my mom used to say, not a pot to pee in and a window to throw it out of, or a pillow to lay his head on, he blessed me with everything. And I remember feeling sorry for myself and sorry for him. So I went back to my truck, and I sat there for a few minutes with tears coming down my eyes. And I'm a strong man. My little brother died, like I was telling Robin, the year before of cancer, and I spoke at his funeral. But this guy, what he did, it touched me. And I realized there's something here. And I sat there until the words from the Bible came into my head, where it says, feed a man a fish for a day, or feed a man a fish for a day, you feed him for a day, but the rest of it was teach him to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. Well, that popped into my head, and I realized, okay, I can do something about that. So I turned on my car, I backed it out, and I drove down to the 98-cent store. And I bought 3 buckets, I bought 3 bottles of Index and 3 squeegees. I made up 3 signs that said, wash windows, 50 cents. Help me to help myself. And I started driving around looking for bums to give it to. So that's an example of what you can do with your purpose and your passions in life. Find a way to help others around you. It doesn't have to be something where you save the world. But if you look at my life and everything that I've overcome, I started my first business in 1988 or 89, and I've been successful at Body Sculpting by Chris. Recently, with the dance area, I learned to become a dancer. I became an aerobic instructor. I taught aerobics for 18, 20 years. I also have a book out for aerobic instructors to teach them choreography. So I overcame the stuttering by joining Toastmasters, becoming an actor. I have a TV show on Channel 6 called Spirit Quest, which talks about searching for your purpose and your passions in life. So I took all of my obstacles and I learned how to overcome them. So I discovered that my purpose was helping others overcome their obstacles. And that's why I'm here today. So if you could take out your piece of paper. And we're going to talk about overcoming your obstacles and discovering your purpose. There's a couple questions you need to ask yourself that I'm going to ask you. Question number 1. Write down, what are your strengths? What are your strengths? Example from my own life, I believe that everything happens for a reason, that God put things in our path so we can learn to overcome them, become better people. So I learned how to overcome obstacles in my life. So write down a list of your strengths. And you have to have more than one strength.
Thank you. Just keep asking. And then she's like, no. Yeah. Copy off my test.
This is just giving you an idea of where you need to look for the clues.
This is so true.
Second question, what are you good at? What are the things that you're good at?